everyone? Welcome to this week's live sesh. So I just know that Luke's going to start with, wow, guys, it's been a busy week because it has been. There's so much coming. There's so much going on. So we've got lots of fun stuff to talk about. As usual, throw any questions you might have in the YouTube live chat so we can keep track of them and bring them up accordingly. We'll get to as many as we can today, of course, and keep it farmer friendly. Be kind to one another. I know, and I will recognize right now, we've had a little bit of issues with logging in this morning. Our development team is working really, really hard to get that rectified. So yeah, without further ado, let me bring up Luke.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Yeah, super excited to be here. I'm super excited to chat to all of you today. And yeah, it's been a very busy week on the back end. All of the stuff around getting ready for the token it's a lot of work. We're putting it all in and we're pretty excited about what the next stages are. So yeah, again, appreciate you all being here. I think we might keep it a bit more simple today in the AMA. Just kind of go over questions, go over all of that. I don't have a huge agenda today. Because the team's just been really busy at work and trying to make the next stage of things happen. So yeah, there's been a lot of work on the back end on my end. I was at Consensus last week, meeting up with a bunch of people in person as we're getting ready for the next stages. And I've been back and forth between San Francisco and such lately. Finally here back in my home in Los Angeles, but yeah, it's been very hectic. So really appreciate you all coming in, tuning into the AMA. Looks like we have a happy birthday to LA Fantium, one of our very loyal community members. And do you have anything that you want to share, Heidi, or anything that you want to go over? It doesn't seem like we're going to get an update out this week. Am I correct on that?
I believe so. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. So the update on the community side I have for you all is that we did open up mayor nominations again a few days ago, and they are going to be closed shortly after this AMA. So if you haven't nominated anyone yet, please go do so right now so that you get your nominations in, and then we'll throw them into the algorithm. Same thing as before, just make sure that they're a really good representative of the Pixels community, and then we will open up voting. And I think voting we're only going to have open for a couple of days. So yeah, go nominate right now. And then voting should open up tomorrow, if not the next day. It's crazy. It's so crazy that we're already here, And then next week after the AMA, so not today, but a week from now, we're going to have the second mayor energy party. And I've actually requested that the developers up the energy that you get during those parties because it's kind of lame beforehand, not gonna lie. So this time it's gonna be great. You're gonna get a lot of energy during the party. So make sure that you come with an empty tank. And yeah, I think those are my quick updates for you guys. Oh, I can also spill some tea on merch. This is a sample that I got. This is one sample. It's not perfect. And I wanted to bring you guys in on this process because building in public. So this is huge alpha. This is one of the samples. It is the nicest quality hoodie I own. It's it's incredible. It's great. I have it oversized because I like them oversized. This logo is not perfect though. Technically our logo is the outline version of this. So I'm going to test another sample, get a little outline. What I want to hear from you guys, though, is we wanted to create something that's super, super wearable, right? So we were like, okay, simple, super high quality, something that you're like cool with wearing all the time. It's not like in your face, crazy, all of this stuff. But do we want a colored logo or do we like the white? I don't know. I haven't decided yet. So actually, that's huge alpha. There you go, guys. So things are coming. It's not going to be, if you were listening to the AMA a few weeks ago, I did talk a lot about the process of why and how we're doing merch, I guess, which should I dive into now? Do we need to talk about that again? Maybe
no, we've covered that a lot. Yeah, we think of merch as more like retention. So again, my take here is if you guys have a hoodie from us, you probably won't sell your farmland. And yeah, I mean, why would you at that point? But also, yeah, hoodies are super nice. Again, nicest hoodie I own as well. Super happy with who we're working with on that. I think I do have a few things I can also go over too. So, and I can start to hint towards some of the stuff that we're doing over the next month. So yeah, as we're getting ready for Pixel and all that launching, obviously there's a ton of stages, a lot of different people that we need to be talking to make all of this happen. We feel pretty good. on that side of things in terms of the launch and all of that. It's pretty exciting. But that means we're also going to start doing, our own marketing campaigns towards it pretty soon. We have a few things up our sleeve, which will be pretty fun. We have another thing too that I want to release this week, but yeah, we're going to go pretty hard into guerrilla marketing. That's what we've found that we're pretty decent at. You still have to give away those pitchforks, Heidi.
Oh, and you were so detailed in the description of what the pitchfork is. Like, what if someone that lives internationally wins and I can't get the like oak wood, whatever you said it was? We'll do our best.
Yeah, but that's just like a little taste. So, yeah, we have a few campaigns coming up in terms of organic and guerrilla marketing that we're going to be pretty excited to. And I think some of you have been kind of, deciphering some of the stuff that we're up to as well. Our goal for the next stage is really to start to, one, just make some noise in the space, get attention again. We think we have a pretty good product where now that, the more noise we make, the more users will retain. And we're really thinking about funnel optimization too. So not only do we want to make noise, this next time that people see us, we want to start, retaining and converting more and more users that come through the funnel. So we have a few other, enhancements coming, things like, working on mobile web, working to make sure that the experience of onboarding is better. Those things are coming really soon. We want to get those out ideally, honestly, before Pixel even releases, so that when Pixel releases, we are basically capturing more of the audience that sees the game and comes and plays as well too. So yeah, two big things right there. Mobile web getting pretty close to getting out a first version of it. We'll probably enhance it for a bit after we release it. And then two, we're going to rework our onboarding flow a bit more to make sure it's more obvious that you guys in the community are great. You help any new Discord member onboard into the game. We need to make it much more intuitive, so we're working on that now as well too. Then yeah, we have a few other things we think will capture a bit more attention in the space in terms of secret alpha that we've been working on, and we're pretty excited about those things as well. So yeah, expect a few marketing campaigns, as we have a few that are just almost ready to go. Basically, we want to make sure that we hit the date that we say, though, essentially. So we've been holding them back. We essentially want to do like a month of marketing before we hit our big events. So we're almost there. Just confirming and wrapping up a few things, and then we're gonna push the gas. So we're pretty excited about all of that. And yeah, I don't want to share too much because we leak a lot, and this is some fun stuff that we're doing coming up.
Okay. Do you have any other things that you wanted to discuss before we just dive into it?
Yeah, one more big thing too. So we did a huge bot ban yesterday. We're sitting at like 150,000 monthly active bots. Really great. Team is also working to make sure that's tracked on Dap Radar. I think we could probably get that stuff live by end of week. That's gonna be really big when people actually finally see our on-chain activity and actually finally see, hey, we're ranking top 5 in Web3 games by player base. But then we're doing this while also really actively managing bots. And I think that is a difference between us and other games in the space. So we had a huge wave of bot bans yesterday. Those of you having trouble logging in, mostly was not you. That's a separate issue right now in terms of like reCAPTCHA and bot prevention. But yeah, we basically locked away like millions and millions of berry that no longer will get dumped on the markets, no longer get sold. We have an incentive to manage bot detection on our game because we want these tokens to be used for tools for us. So when we have bots come into the game, they're the ones who are going to be putting the highest amount of sell pressure on these tokens, which don't allow us to use the tokens in the way that we want to for retention incentives, for growth incentives as well. And it basically ruins our growth. So we want to build an active and real player base. We have a huge incentive to remove bots for these reasons, and we've been doing it. So yesterday was our biggest bot ban we've done to date. We caught a ton, and it's pretty fun and exciting to see that. So yeah, expect more around that soon. But yeah, we just want to kind of let you guys know. And if you had trouble logging in into your bot account, this is why. But yeah, with that, I think that's all the updates we have this week. You're going to see stuff roll out pretty soon. Just a busy week on the back end, more so than on the front end this week.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we've already got a few questions from you guys, but please add more to the chat. We're actively managing it. Pardon me. I think let's start out with this question because it's a good one. Do you plan on having a reverse AMA again? So for those of you that don't know what this is, probably a couple months ago now, which is crazy, we decided to kind of flip how we do AMAs, and instead we were asking you guys questions, specifically about gameplay or even community stuff, like what do you want to see, what do you want to do, and all of that. And I think we should definitely do one again. There's also a really fun or interesting thing that's coming out from our design team that is going to ask you guys about I think I'll just say it, like what utility items you want in game. And so although it's not like a live session, we're going to give you guys an opportunity to provide us with tons of ideas for different utility items in games. So if you have any, start thinking of them now so that when we release that form, you guys are well equipped to just flood it with information, because that's something that we're very curious about. So yeah, we could do one of these pretty soon, I think. And maybe once we have that feature out too, it'll be make even more sense. Okay, let's see. I had a question in here. Oh, okay, this is a good one. You may have mentioned it already, but is Pixel going to be on Matic like Barry is?
Yeah, so we're gonna mint Pixel on the L1 and then give out rewards on the L2, if that makes sense. So, yeah, it's obviously much cheaper for us to distribute the token on an L2 than it is on the L1. But when we're talking to dexes or exchanges, we want the token to be where liquidity lies. So we're gonna be minting it on the L1, and then we're gonna be bridging over the tokens ourselves to the L2 and divvying out rewards on the L2.
Okay, other questions here. When Pixel?
Can't say the date, but it's getting there. Yeah, we're super excited about it. Obviously, Pixel's the next stages of what we're doing. Again, we talked last week. We want to launch Pixel because we're ready for it. So just getting all the stages ready, all the logistics around it, obviously pretty important. There might be some new legal hoops that we need to jump through, given recent regulation in the U.S. that's slowing things down as well. But we're moving and making progress on it. So yeah, it's coming quite soon. You'll know when it's coming. We're not going to be quiet about it. And we've already started making a bit of noise, but we have a lot of plans around that. So again, about 4 weeks before it goes, which is quite soon, we are going to start making a lot of noise. We have a few campaigns that we're ready for that. The whole shebang. So yeah, it's gonna be really exciting, guys. This is just the beginning of what we're doing, and the next stages are, going to be really, really great for us. So.
And I will say, last week's AMA, we talked so much about tokens and Pixel and all of that. I made a little quote video on Twitter if you want to scroll down, and actually I think I posted it like 2 days ago. So it should be front and center. You can watch a little quote video, just highlight reel, and then it's linked there as well. Just if you're interested in tokenomics and upcoming launch of Pixel, I would definitely watch last week's live session. Okay. Let's see. Okay, yeah. And this is what I addressed very briefly in my intro. So a lot of people are having issues today with login and reCAPTCHA and all of that. When will the problems be solved? So our development team is working really, really hard to implement a fix for that. Actually, they've already pushed a fix. So if you're still experiencing issues, please hop on Discord and just mention it. And if you can take a screenshot of your logs, console logs, that's super helpful to us to be able to dig in and find what the issue is. So most of people that were experiencing these problems this morning, it should be resolved. So if they're not, please let us know. Okay, let's look here. Is there any specific ones you wanted to dive into?
Yeah, so we'll go into the economics of pets in another AMA probably next week. I think that would be interesting to do that. We're planning on doing something a bit different. I really like a mix of the nouns model and the checks model, the open editions. So what we're kind of thinking is basically doing monthly open editions, but having a burn mechanic that's really similar to what checks did. And that's all I want to say on that now. But I like the idea of having basically different traits minted each month and then having some kind of burn mechanism on these traits. So not straight breeding, but then basically giving, limited sets of additions of, NFT traits, or like different pet types essentially, doing them on a monthly basis. So kind of treating them like trading cards in a way where it's like this drop is this month, like the Genesis ones are, the OGs, the first ones, and they're rare. And then adding burn mechanic to them where they can potentially be combined into a single one or things like that. There, I don't know if that's revealing too much info, but we like the idea of like basically combining a model like Now and Style, and then open edition checks. It'll be a bit unique, but we're pretty excited about it.
Yeah, we're getting
Not,
lots of
yeah,
pets here.
not straight breeding though. What we don't like about breeding, what I don't like about breeding is breeding can make NFTs too hard to get. But I think there's a way to balance it by rewarding people who, are collectors and who are getting stuff that are, earlier, like rare editions, and then also still making them accessible. Pokemon does a great job of this, except for the fact they had a controversy around this recently. Um, but yeah, that's actually crazy if you guys aren't following that Pokemon controversy. But essentially, what happened was the people who were printing the Pokemon trading cards, they got caught taking all the most rare cards and then selling them on secondary markets themselves. So very good example of why the blockchain actually kind of helps and matters in collectibles and trading, because you couldn't get away with that if it was Web3. People would know if you're taking all the rare editions or minting them yourselves. But yeah, we like that model because, basically better cards are more valuable because they're harder to get, where the people who were, playing Pokemon early on had the holographic Charizard, had no idea that it would be something special one day. They still have them and they're pretty happy about it. But then, yeah, we can take a similar approach to these NFTs. We kind of view them like that as well.
I love watching those reveal videos of people just opening the cards, and then they have like I don't know like anything about Pokemon. I'm sorry, I was not a Pokemon kid. I was like watching South Park. I wasn't trading cards, but I yeah, I was watching South Park far too young for a child to be watching South Park. But anyways, I love watching them just suddenly panic over like some TikTok video. Anyways, going back to it. This question is kind of asking for a lot of leaks, so I'm not sure how much we want to share, but is the hatching process for pets coming a week prior to the launch of Pixel, or will it be once the token goes live? Have put in work for these. You should see how many potions some people have stacked up. I think I've made 2 so far.
Nice.
Some people have like storage chests filled with them. It's crazy.
Not surprising. Yeah, so potions will be a key part to, actually creating your pet. You're going to need them to do it. So yeah, we like the idea of pets being a mix of pixel and berry burn. Basically thinking about pets as pixel burn for the minting process, doing like a monthly mint of new types of pets. But yeah, we don't want to launch pets. They're basically ready now. We don't want to launch them until we have Pixel out, because we want to, we want to have utility for Pixel when we launch it. And this is an easy one for us to do. We haven't done a mint since December 2021. And how many other collections that have our volume haven't done that? There's not that many actually. Most collections that, are in the volume of, secondary sales that we have launched many collections. We thought that was silly, or like kind of cash grabby. What we want to do is we just want to like create really useful things for a token to do. And we think that this is a good one for a token to do early on.
Okay. Ooh, this is a good question. Are more worlds like Cyber and Tastemakers coming?
Yes, the direction we want to move is that we want you guys to be able to make worlds like this. So the idea is we are, opening up our tooling slowly and slowly, to allow our users to create new experiences like this. And really the only thing stopping that now is we just want to make sure that this is a really easy experience for our users. But I have faith at least that you guys are capable of making experiences like this. So, we have a whole suite of tooling that we've used to build out these games. It's all no code. It's like we can upload new art, we can upload new tile sets, things like that, and make interesting worlds. I cannot wait until we start to experiment with seeing what you guys can make. And that is interesting to you. Let us know. We have a wait list on our website. And maybe we want to link that again for people who are interested in early access to this tooling. How we kind of plan on rolling it out is we're thinking, first we start with like world builders, seeing like if you guys can just create static worlds that look nice in your own art styles. Like for example, if Subway Rats wanted to make a sewer system, with all their own art, that'd be sweet. Then slowly seeing what kind of game mechanics that you guys can add afterwards. And that'll be the tricky part. We'll see if that works in the way that we want it to, but we're really interested in the Roblox model or the sandbox model and kind of modeling after that, but then going on a more user-friendly approach to them. There's different levels of user-generated content where, if you wanted to call C++ a UGC tool, you could kind of call, like a programming language like that, user-generated tooling. Because I can go and code a game from scratch. But then there's also game engines that make user-generated content a bit easier, like a Unity or an Unreal. Then there's something that's a bit easier, like a Fortnite or a Roblox, where you don't have to code everything. Then there's stuff that's a bit easier, like Minecraft Redstone, where the rules are a bit more set, but you see some crazy stuff getting built with Minecraft Redstone. And then there's like a spectrum that keeps going down and down the list. Like for example, MySpace has user-generated content, or it did, but it just let you change the theme and add CSS to your page, but then the rest was MySpace. So we want to kind of sit in between these things and lean way more on the casual end of user-generated content, where we let our users make content. We're not as focused on game studios making content. And then what we're really interested in when we're thinking about user-generated content is it's really thinking about it from a token perspective. When we're thinking about what does Web3 add to gaming and where is our competitive advantage, we are really thinking around token and network effects. And that's, to me, the deep tech that we're actually building out. We're not trying to go one-to-one to compete with, Roblox. We're not trying to compete one-to-one with Unity or, Fortnite Creative Engine. We think the interesting stuff that we're building out in Web3 really does revolve around growth, user acquisition, and token incentives for creating and growing this network, essentially. And that's how we have a competitive advantage against other companies. And that's how, we actually think that we can increase our market share in gaming in general and actually move the gaming space in really interesting and positive ways. So instead of thinking about, strictly tooling, it's like, how can we use these network effects? How can we use token incentives to grow this ecosystem? And UGC is a part of that. What I kind of see what we're building at is like the combination of, or where I think Web3 really is going to excel is when you bring in UGC, token incentives, and AI generated content. So user generated content, token incentives, and AI generated content. If you bring those together, you have a really interesting recipe for creating, very expandable experiences, and a huge network that couldn't exist without those three things together. So we're in a really interesting turning point when it comes to gaming, when it comes to user generated content, where these three systems together can create something massive. And that's the stuff that we're really, really excited to be like kind of at the forefront of and pioneering. So yeah, it's these things together that we're hoping that you guys will start to help create. We're hoping that these tools that we give you, AI and token incentives will help create the systems around that.
Yeah, so it's just like a continuing question of that. How will we integrate our content as decor and such into Pixel? So we're building out tooling that you will get access to do so. Keep in mind, and I say this every time we talk about this, that we are going to be vetting the quality of the content to a point. Especially if you plan on putting it in like the Pixels farming game, we want to make sure that it's at the quality and standards of the world that we have existing right now. So go get practicing, because pixel art is hard. Is what I say every time.
Yeah, so it is funny because I've seen some of your fan art though, and it is pretty good sometimes. Some of you are bad, but some of you are good. Uh, yeah, so we're kind of going two approaches with this as well. What we're going to be experimenting with is letting you introduce new decorations into the farmland game loop itself. Then the other thing that we're interested in is kind of a separate game economy as well. So giving you access to like a full world builder that's separate from the Pixels universe, that's more like a Tastemakers, more like a New Cyber. So a separate game world that still uses the engine, but has a different economy. And the rules are more lax that way too. We have an art style in the farmland game that you need to follow if you introduce content in there, but you can develop your own art style in a different world builder. and we don't really care. As long as it's on you to make it look good in that case, essentially. But if you're putting it in a farmland game, we want it to look like our style and look consistent.
Okay. First of all, they're gardening right outside my window, so I'm sorry if it's loud. Please just tell me. I will mute myself. Oh my gosh, you can read this one.
Can I make my character as I like and integrate as a single project, not a collection, but as my character? Yes, so that's one of the tools that we'll probably roll out in the long run as well too. It's fun because our avatar system is the same as our NPC system. And the NPC builder and quest builder is something that we have on the roadmap for user generated content. So yeah, we like the idea of you having more freedom to integrate NFTs and collections into the ecosystem. We'll probably, so right now, the NFT integrations are not self-service, but we want to get there. Essentially having your avatar, like having NFT collections be able to upload their own art, just have us click approve and then go on our way, not having to have so much involvement with the team to do it.
Okay. Let's just hop back to some older questions that we got earlier. So really well done with Tastemakers. What is being done to combat bots? So Luke did mention this earlier, but we banned a lot of bots in the last 24 hours. And we're continuously banning bots. And I say this very often. We're not very public about how we're doing it or when we're doing it or anything like that, because we don't want the botters to know what we're looking for and that we're coming for them.
It's funny because I used to be really sympathetic to these people.
I was
like, why was I banned? Like, and I would like tell them, oh, we caught you doing this, and then I was like, oh wait, they're using this against us. Or people would ask like, very specific questions about what was allowed and what wasn't allowed in game. I'd be like, oh, this is like what we're tracking, and then they would use that to make a better bot. So we can't say anything around this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard too, because they pull at our heartstrings, and we're like, no.
The emotional manipulation is quite rude, you bothers. I'm not gonna lie.
Like, this is the person. Anyways, okay. Let's scroll through here. What are plans to improve land utility more? And are we going to add more industries? Are we planning pets to be breedable on lands, different place? Okay, tons of questions here. I'm going to start by hopping back to what I said earlier. I kind of like leaked a little thing that we're going to be releasing soon. So someone on our design team, Tyler, is implementing a little link in game where asking you guys, what kind of utility do you want? What items do you want with utility? So it's not specifically land utility, but that's something like if you have some really fun, crazy, cool ideas, please put them in there. And then maybe we'll do the reverse AMA as well in the next few weeks. Planning to add more industries. Yeah. Yes, we are. And then planning pets to be breedable on lands, different place. So we kind of touched on that already. I don't think we need to cover too much more, but
yeah. So I will say also with the berry. Oh, this is something to touch on too. As we're getting ready for the Pixel token, we want to instill confidence in the other stuff that we have released. So thinking about liquidity incentives for Berry is top of mind lately. How can we build out liquidity pools for this and incentivize this as well? It's interesting because I've been very anti-staking for a long time, right? But now that we have a really solid player base, there actually might be reasons to start doing that. And I will say that I really like the sandbox model where you put up tokens to do it, but then also if you have land, you get better incentives for that as well. So now we can start to experiment with more of the DeFi side of things we haven't done yet. Massive alpha there, I guess. But yeah, we are really looking into more DeFi oriented mechanics that start to move us towards the next stage as well, because these things do matter a bit when we're actually wanting to do the things we want to do with the token, which means we want to use it for growth, we want to use it for retention, we want to use it for all these tools. And the more that we think about this kind of stuff, the more powerful these tools become for us for growth and for building out the network.
Okay, I just saw a screenshot of one of our users, Chicken Pet. Has a stack of one specific type of potion, and he has 997 of just that type of potion.
Of course. Is it jumbo?
No, but I'm sure he's got more if that's just the one site. Oh my goodness. Okay. And then I had a few users say, wow, Heidi has two. I only have one. We'll go make more. Okay. Let's see. Any specific questions you want to answer?
Are there more quests on Burgers than 2 in the alpha? There's another one coming soon. That's all I can say. We're pretty excited about that one. That'll be pretty cool. We'll probably get some buzz around that.
Yeah, excited about that. Will there be any benefits in game for liquidity providers?
Yeah, we just talked about this a bit. Yeah, we're looking into this. This is actually a short-term priority, I would say, as we're getting ready for the next stages. Yeah, I've just been talking to like a couple different teams based on this kind of stuff recently. So, yeah, we want to start leaning more into the DeFi side of things for this stuff because it does provide certain benefits for the ecosystem. And again, when we're thinking about next stages, we're really just thinking about ecosystem growth, how we can make this as big as possible, and some of this stuff will help achieve that. And now it's time to start adding that. When you start only catering towards speculators, it's not good. We have a really, really solid base of gamers who are interested in our game, and now we can start to think about DeFi.
Okay, what potions will we need to hatch pets? So I'm going to go ahead and assume you actually don't know what the potions are, because any of the potions will hatch pet. But so if you're in Terravilla Central, like near the fountain, walk right and you will see a pet store. Go into the pet store and there's a machine, let's call it, at the back, or is it? It's kind of like a table that you can put random items on, and it will brew a potion that will be used in to create your pet in the future. Just throw in random objects, items, and see what it'll take. I think you have a minute to put in whatever you want. Some people in our Discord community have figured out recipes for specific types of potions. So if you want a little bit more information, head over to Discord and ask in like one of the general chats, and someone, I'm sure, will send you the chart. If not, it's probably pinned already. But yes, that's what the potions are.
Can't answer this one. Sorry.
Okay.
There are lots of unpopulated buildings and houses in Terravilla. Are those going to all be filled in over time as new things are added? Yes. So one thing that we also thought about was maybe selling those houses for berry, using them as like a place to, have extra storage or just to have like another spot. Curious on your guys' thoughts on that. Also, what we've been thinking is, as we're moving towards UGC, this could be a good way to increase discoverability of a world that you build out. So essentially having a lot of these buildings be like warps to worlds or, different areas that they can get to that way.
Okay, and we're running low on questions here. It feels like a very calm AMA today. So if you have any last minute questions, throw them in the live chat here on YouTube so that we can bring them up.
Yeah, so for this kind of stuff, I like this. I like having like gameplay oriented things. Honestly, when we're thinking about new worlds being created, we'll probably just have a discoverable dashboard pretty soon. But yeah, I do like the idea of having something like that. Is playing pixels in mobile allowed or will result in ban? Totally allowed. And in fact, we're actually about to support it really soon. So yeah, if you've managed to make it work in mobile now, congrats. It's going to get better in about a week or so, it looks like. So next release, we're hoping to release new content around that, or like a new update around mobile support, and then we'll probably make it better over the course of like the next month as well. But yeah, so one thing that we hate about the game right now is a lot of people find it on Twitter on mobile, and then they go to click on a link and they can't play it, which is a huge drop off in our funnel. And we know that that's really hurting us in terms of growth. Like, when you're missing 20% top of funnel, that has a huge impact on, daily retention on the next side of things. So, yeah, we're definitely about to do that. And we know that mobile will help increase our, daily active users by a good amount just for reasons like that.
Okay. Any functionality to Content Queen. So I think the premise on items like this was that we were going to make them a discoverability item. There has been a pause on that internally, just like prioritizing like where we can allocate dev work and all of that. But I'll bring this up with the team again because I'm curious where they're at with that. Any collab alpha?
I'm not spilling anything.
No, not right now.
Yeah, no alpha, but yeah, I mean, we have a lot in the back end. That's been a large priority of what we've been up to essentially.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were done.
Go ahead.
Are we worried basically that tastemakers kind of killed farming in pixels? That's
So
not totally true. That's not totally true. And the reason for that is I would say our top players that are going really hard that have already been in pixels for a very long time, that they have completely moved their attention to tastemakers. However, newer players have to get energy in pixels to be able to go hard in tastemakers. So semi-true.
what's interesting is Tastemakers has actually been a huge net berry burn, which is good as well too. A lot of you stockpile food and energy, and you're burning through it. Which, yeah, obviously there's potential prizes on the line for that, and other incentives as well. But it's been really interesting to experiment with that. And we kind of like this cross game element for that reason. So when we're thinking about user generated content too, we're also thinking about, okay, what are the things that move between games? I really like the idea of the energy system moving between games. So like we have pets that will follow you between games, potentially energy system, which will always use berry, will follow you through games as well too. So only being able to replenish energy with items that are sold in berry. Yeah, it's interesting, right? So when we're thinking about user generated content, we are taking a more opinionated approach. Again, we're not going like full Unity or Unreal. We're taking more like Habbo Hotel, Club Penguin, that casual types of vibes. If you added, customizability and then interoperability, like economy and all of that too. So more like create your own tiny MMO.
Okay. Will there be anything similar to the community center from Stardew Valley where there's a long-term goal to work towards?
Yeah, so one thing that we're going to be releasing on the release of the Pixel token is we have this new dashboard of rewards coming out. So we're going to put on rewards that are like first come, first serve, basically. So like the first 10 people that do this like badge, they're going to get their prizes. And it's pretty fun how we can incentivize things like that. So we can add really weird niche tasks, like first 10 people that farm 1,000 carrots, get this, or like first 10 people that have these specific items. So yeah, we have like all this gamification ready. It's an easy way for us to like basically put in interesting goals that you guys can work towards while completing our game loop in almost an artificial way, but still pretty fun.
Okay. We got a few. This is a good question. So, I think we both hit it.
Oh yeah.
So add an option to purchase VIP for 1 year. Yeah. So those of you that got your hands on a free subscription for VIP, I think it's expiring in roughly a month and a half. Do you know the date?
Yeah, I think June 16th, if you redeemed it right away, would be that day.
So yeah, it's coming up. Do we
Yeah.
have?
Okay. We'll do that. Yeah, sure.
It's a good idea. Okay. So there's two parts that I'm going to respond to this. So could the burger restaurant maybe close for a day, like a weekly day off? So number one, Elephantium, I know you're going extremely hard. I got reports that you were going for like 20 hours straight. So please, mental health comes first. So please sleep and eat and whatever. And also this is a limited time thing, right? So it's only open for, I think it's 4 weeks, right, Luke? So the time off is coming, I guess, but please also, take care of yourself.
Yeah.
And this is the person whose birthday it is, so go scream happy birthday at them. Okay. Ability to split stacks, larger storage chest, with limited membership. So these are all really good ideas. So like I mentioned a few times, we have this like utility item form coming out. Although this isn't really a new item with utility, it's kind of like different mechanics. So we have a few different forms that we collect this kind of stuff. So we have a feature request form, and it's linked on our help center and on our Discord. So please add stuff like this to it. We're constantly monitoring it. And then we can kind of take it in and prioritize and decide like, okay, is this something we want to do? Does it work with the future of the game that we've imagined so far and what we have planned, and etc. All right. I just love getting messages like this. Like, love what you guys are doing. I'm so glad to be part of it. We're so glad that you're here and a part of it with us. Like, we would not be where we are without our community. We really attribute so much of our success to all of you being here and building with us. So thank you so much for your kind words. It really does mean a lot.
Yeah, it's a much different feeling than it was a year ago, honestly. I'm glad we built up trust in our community and player base. Rather than, talk only be around speculation. Like, it's nice. I really do feel like we found a player base that cares about what we're building, is excited to see, Web3 and gaming change for the better. Like, I think you guys understand, hey, we're really trying to do things the right way also. And we're really, putting our all into this, honestly. The amount of effort this team's been putting in, I have to give it to the team. It's not just a me effort. It's not just a Heidi effort. There's, a ton of other people behind us. Putting in like a ton of effort to make sure that we're actually doing something really interesting in the space. So yeah, super appreciative of all these comments. It does help.
Yeah, it does. Okay, another good question. So how long do we have to be able to redeem free VIP? So if you haven't redeemed your free VIP, you can still do so. I don't think we've time limited it yet. I would, if we ever do, I feel like it would be like a year. So you have like a lot of time, but just do it when you think it benefits you the most.
Yeah, if you guys want to wait till the Pixel token releases or something like that, you're free to do it then. That's why we gave you time to do that.
Okay. So when is owner's land opening? Okay, so I think what you're actually talking about is there's a staircase in the plot office that leads to a secret room for landowner access only. So there is something special coming for that soon. I don't have a date yet, but things are in the works. Things are being designed out still, but something is coming. And will the house size on lands ever be significant? Yeah. So you guys, when we first released chapter 1, there were a lot of things on your land or traits, I should say, that didn't have strong utility yet. And there are still traits that still don't have strong utility yet. And just think about like the future, like what we can do with that in the future. There are still different aspects of the game that we can play with. So I would say yes, not immediately. Not in the next couple of sprints. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, of course, in the future.
Yes, we probably will do some like raffles and stuff like that for free VIP in certain circumstances, but we probably won't give it out in the same scale that we did before. So um, yeah, we want VIP to make sense for people too, though. So when we're thinking about pixel generation, when we're thinking about the pixel token, we will allocate a certain amount of the pixel rewards to free players. But we'll probably allocate more to VIPs. It's the easiest way for us to kind of verify, hey, we're not giving a ton of this token to a lot of bots. So when we're thinking about pixel generation in the short term and like who we want to give it to, it's basically like 3 different personas. It's real players, which are VIP's best proxy for it. It's landowners. That's also a great proxy for who's a real player. And then it's free players too. But when we're seeing the berry token, the people who have VIP, much better indicator of real player. When we're thinking about making sure we don't give berry or pixel to bots, VIP is a really good way to do it. So again, we want it to make sense for people. Increased earnings are a really interesting way to do this. But then, yeah, there's a lot of things we can do to incentivize certain behaviors that we want as well. And giving VIP might be a good way to do it through like raffles or like Twitter giveaways, things like that.
Okay, so just to finish up here, I have a couple different reminders, announcements, that kind of stuff. So first of all, I said this at the beginning, nominate who you want to be the next mayor right now. The form is going to close very, very soon. I would say within the next hour. So if you haven't nominated someone for mayor, go and do it right now, immediately. You're allowed to leave the AMA to go do it. Second reminder, next week after the AMA, so 1 p.m. PST, we're going to have the second mayor energy party. You will get much more energy than you did at the last one. We have bumped it up significantly. And we're also looking for someone to hop on live stream with us and DJ and have some fun with us. I will say right now, this isn't a paid opportunity. This is just something we were hoping to maybe integrate with a community member. But in the future, it'd be really cool to do more opportunities like that. But yeah, if you're a DJ and you're like, want to come hang out with us live stream here, some music throughout the mayor party next week, please reach out to me on Discord. And then last but not least, this has been mentioned several times, but it is someone's birthday and they're a very active player in the community. And they are inviting everyone to go to 1404 right now for, I guess, a birthday party. So I will go. We'll see you there. And with that, I think we can wrap it up. Do you have any last things you wanted to say, Luke?
No, I think that's about it. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll see you on 1404 and next week. Bye, guys.